Hello, this is Cate Crowley, a professor of practice here at Teachers College, Columbia University in New York City. This is Module 3 of the video tutorial series, Culturally and Linguistically Appropriate Evaluations, What Every EI Evaluator in New York City Needs to Know. This is a training that I gave in March and April, a series of trainings for the New York City Department of Health. A number of people asked me if they could see it again or where I was going to do it again, so we decided to create these modules so people can see it if they saw it again before and they want to double check, or if they want to see it for the first time. So welcome. This Module 3 is how to distinguish whether a child is truly eligible for services. Is there a developmental delay, significant delay, that would qualify these children for services? And also talk about the wide range of average, especially in our children, birth through 3. So the New York City Department of Health Communication Clinical Practice Guidelines, I just wanted to look at some of the things they have here. In the language milestones from 9 to 12 months, we have attracts attention by vocalizing or coughing, shakes head no, waves bye-bye, indicates request, looks back and forth to request something from an adult, imitates new sounds, and shows consistent reduplicated babbling, which is which mostly babies do when they're by themselves in their crib or in their stroller. And that's a beautiful developmental milestone to see. Here are the New York State Department of Health Clinical Practice Guidelines for 12 to 18 months. Single words begin, they request objects, point, vocalize, may have word approximations. A word approximation counts as a word when you're doing an evaluation, even if it doesn't sound that way. For example, if they want their bottle and they say ba, I'll give them a word. Gets attention, understands agency, that adults can do things for them. Protests by either shaking the head no, pushing things away, moving the head away. Comments, points to objects, vocalizes or uses words approximations, and acknowledges eye contact, vocal response, or repetition of words. So now we're going to look at Ma. At this point, she's 15 months old. Let's look at this video and see what you see. She's in her kitchen. Her mom is there, her dad is there, and I'm there. I know her. I've spent time with her, but I hadn't seen her in a few months. And for a 15-month-old, she doesn't remember me. So let's watch this video and see what we learn about her comprehension and her cognition.
Whose is that? Give that to Mommy. Does Mommy want that? Give it to Mommy. Mommy, you want some? You want this?
Yeah, I'll have some. Can I have
Here,
it?
give it to Mommy.
Let me have it,
Please.
Mommy.
Give it to
Let
Mommy.
me have it, honey. Oh,
Nice.
thank you, good girl. You're
Now
such
give
a
something to
good-
Daddy. Daddy's hungry.
Oh, here, give it to Daddy.
Sophia, can I have that?
No.
Oh,
Give it to Daddy.
Well,
thank you. Thank you so much,
Get her
Sophia.
a smile.
Thank you, sweetheart. Can you give it to Cate?
give it to me, please.
Give it to Cate. Give it to Auntie Cate
me.
over there.
Over here, here I am.
Sorry.
Here I am, Sophia.
I don't want it. Nope.
Oh,
I don't want it.
Sophie.
Sophie
Oh,
wants it.
please.
Give it to Cate. Good job.
Oh.
Thank you.
So as you can see from this video of this adorable little girl, that she's listening. She understands directions. She's looking at me. She's not really sure who I am. She's able to reach out and do things, then give things to who she wants. Now she doesn't respond to my command. And why is that? Is it because she has bad comprehension skills? No. Here's where we get back into the evaluation piece. What makes by us being in the house, how's that going to change a child's functional levels? It really doesn't change their functional levels. What it changes how they perform when somebody like us is there. So here we are in the house. Parents know me extremely well. She doesn't remember me because she hasn't seen me in a few months. And if you watch, she doesn't give it to me. But then what she does, she looks to her mom for, is this okay? First, she doesn't listen, right? She's going to give it to her dad, but not to me. She looks to her mom, and once her mom says yes, then she will give me the little piece of pizza, and then she'll move forward with it. But you see cognition, you see language, you see fine motor, all with her in 50 seconds or whatever what that was, sitting here at her kitchen table with her parents. If I had taken her to the side and said, give me the pizza or whatever she had in her hand, probably give me the block, and she didn't do it, I would say, oh, she can't do that. But of course she can do it. It's just me being there shifted her willingness to perform at her regular functional level. Let's look at the language milestones for 18 to 24 months. Uses mostly words, begins to use two-word combinations, later combinations with relational meanings like daddy, shoe, more cookie, and by 24 months has at least 50 words. Now remember, if for significant enough, if it's just communication, according to the 2010 regs, by 24 months, 30 words, right? 30 words. Now let's have a look at Abigail with her iPad.
Let's see.
Hey, Abby. Abigail. Dime,
Dile, yo fui al parque.
¿cómo te fue? ¿Tú fuiste al parque?
Dile,
Abby,
sí.
¿tú fuiste al parque?
Dile, sí.
Abby,
Dile, sí. Yo.
¿cómo te fue en el parque? ¿Qué tú hiciste en el parque? ¿Qué más tú hiciste?
Dile, nine. Dile,
Nay, nay.
dile, ya yo me voy a dormir, tía.
Ya, es verdad que a las 7:30 que tú la acuerdas.
Ujú, sí. Dile, tía, no le hagas así, Abby. Habla con tía. Dile, tía, ¿cómo tú estás? Dile, hola, tía. Dile, tía, ¿qué tú estás haciendo? ¿Qué tú quieres? No hay más nada, solo tía. ¿Qué tú quieres?
So as you can see with Abigail, she is such a wonderful little child. She is looking at her iPad. She wants to have a conversation with her aunt. She engages in the conversation. She sits and looks at it. She figures out how to use it. She gets in a more comfortable spot. She's responding back and forth. The aunt is asking her what she did in her daycare today. And she's very intentional about her communication. Beautiful moment of assessing functional communication, even though really we can't understand any of the words. They're not Spanish, they're nothing, but they're very intentional. And she has words outside of this situation, but I just thought this was her showing, I want to communicate with my aunt and I'm not going to be held back by the words that I know. All right, now at 24 to 36 months, here's the milestones. Engages in short dialogue, expresses emotion, uses language in imaginative ways, says, hey, somebody's preparative development characterized by collections of unrelated ideas and stories, and begins to include articles and appropriate morphology. Again, that last one is related to the bias in linguistic bias. So now we're going to look at a video of Edie at 27 months old, walking out of her house and looking for these little ducks, the duck eggs, hoping for them to hatch. Wait, Edie, where's the other shoe?
Right there.
What happened? Hold on, I'll get it. You wait, okay?
No, Auntie Ada.
What?
Auntie Ada.
I got it.
Auntie Ada.
No, you want to see the duck?
Yeah, duck hide. That's color. Whoa. It's true. Hey, duck. Oh,
Duck is hiding, huh?
hi, duck. I hide.
Yeah.
It's raining. It's pouring.
What are you going to do when the duck babies come out? Tell Aunt Cate what are you going to do when the duck babies come out?
A baby come out.
And then what?
And
Hold them in your hand?
yeah. Oh, and come leg.
They're going to tickle your leg?
Yeah. So as you can see by this video of Edie, she wants to go see those ducks. And then her mom helps her to explain what she's going to do, hold it in her hands, and then she's going to feel the fur on her legs as the duck walks by. You can see she's very good with balance, even though she's working on those stones, and also has these great big flip-flops on, probably of her big sister. So you'll learn so much about her language, her cognition, her ability to understand what's going on, her ability to make inferences, her interaction using family to help her move her language to another level. Great little kid. How about the New York State Department of Health Motor Clinical Practice Guidelines? So here we have it. 12 to 18 months, they're throwing the ball, climbing upstairs, lowers self from standing, walks alone. Pretty good. Not much of that is terribly biased. Stands up from stooping, climbs onto chairs, stands on one foot, rides big car toys, and kicks balls. So maybe the stands on one foot might be something that may or may not be prior experience, and certainly rides big toy cars probably is not something that every child shares. And then 24 to 28 months, walks downstairs with alternating feet, runs, jumps with 2 feet. Okay, we just have to make sure the kids are willing to do that. Fine motor, turns knob, pushes, pulls, and pokes keys, turn pages in a hard brown book. So a lot of that is experiential. Scribbles with a crayon, very experiential. Completes simple puzzles, very experiential, meaning a child who has a lot of crayons and paper or puzzles or hardbound books in their home are going to score better, and those that don't are going to have a first experience with this. And you can't use the same standard to determine whether they have a developmental delay. Strings beads, don't forget that 13-month-old that was stringing those beads in northern Thailand, and scribbles are more controlled. Again, only if they have the opportunity with paper and pens or crayons or whatever it is, but many kids do not. And a lot of biases in the fine motor issues. All right, let's have a look at little Abigail at 18 months with her broom. Now we can look at fine motor, gross motor, cognition, and communication.
¿Qué haces, Abigail? What are you doing? What are you doing, baby? ¿Estás barriendo? What are you doing? Dime, ¿qué estás haciendo? ¿Qué está haciendo, mami? Cuidado. ¡Wow! Mira qué bien. Muy bien, mami. Me gustó cómo agarraste la escoba. Mira, con las dos manos está agarrando la niña. Muy bien.
So now you just saw Abigail. Her mom's who's an SLP, is saying, what are you doing? You are sweeping the floor. Abigail is so unengaged with communication, very different from when she was using the iPad, because she is so focused on this gross motor task. She is sweeping the floor. So she figures out also, if you notice when she gets bonked on the nose, she figures out how to not do that. She also figures out that holding it with 2 hands is better. All of that is going on. Her mom keeps asking her questions. What are you doing? What are you doing? Which may sound, it may sound like she's not responding, but she doesn't really need to respond to her mom, number one. Number two, there's a lot of cognitive space taken up in the gross motor activities that she's doing. And whether she does get it when her mom says it's dirty, but she already is there. She's totally engaged cognitively in the task in front of her. And gross motor wise, she is too. So having a conversation with her mom saying, I am sweeping, doesn't interest her. Very self-directed young little girl. So how can standardized and criterion reference tests tell us what to expect at a specific month or 3-month range when the clinical practice guidelines cannot? Well, of course, they lack sufficient content and construct validity. That's why you can find these little, this is 26 functional level, and we all know there's no such thing because there's a range. So why is informed clinical opinion so important in EI? Because of the wide variability of average, typical, normal. So this is a 1998 article. I use it all the time in my classes, by Olsweg, Rodriguez, and Timler, recommending intervention for toddlers with specific language learning disabilities. We may not have all the answers, but we know a lot. Now, this is an older article. I update it because I use it in my class every semester. I use it in one of my classes. And I update it. A lot of people are using it just to show how their test is consistent with what Ulsring, Rodriguez, and Timler found. So I really like it. So we're going to go through it. So most toddlers identified as late talkers gradually move to longer normal language skills by the first years of school. We need to consider, one, are comprehension skills age appropriate? And some of you have found you do an evaluation, the expressive language is very delayed, but the receptive language is age appropriate, and you're not going to likely to get services unless you can really shape that to show why this particular child should get services, because we have research on this. Let's have a look at a video of a little boy, Luke, 15 months old. So his mom uses Korean with him, and she says, "Oh, go see how you look in the mirror. Go have a look to see how you look in the mirror." Let's see his comprehension skills come out for us.
왜 하고 모자 인기 이제 가서 거울 봐. 아 이쁘다 인기 거울 봐. 어? 아 이쁘다 인기. 아 이쁘다. 시계 봐. 시계 거울에 봐. 어?
So as you can see with little Luke, his mom says, "See how you're looking?" He's totally comfortable with her. And he follows her directions, and he knows exactly where to go and what to say. And they have this beautiful moment together, which tells us at 15 months, he's got great comprehension skills. And I'm sure you PTs and OTs watch the beautiful movement as well. So in addition to comprehension, we need to consider whether toddlers were not producing any spontaneous two-word utterances. If they weren't producing any two-word utterances, could they imitate two-word combinations using dynamic assessment with a variety of prompts and cues? So can we get them to do it with a variety of prompts and cues? We have to consider the communicative capacity. Is the child using representational or communicative gestures to combine with single words to indicate movement from predominantly single words to word combination? So are they using gestures and eye gaze and intonation to try to communicate, even if they only have single words? Then that tells you the communicative capacity is there. Does the child have good social skills, whatever that is for the child's age, and is active and assertive in peer interactions? That's a question for the mom. You may be able to see it, but mostly you're going to be asking the mom about this. Does the child have strong communicative intent? They want to communicate something. They want to get something. Is phonological development limited? Are there few prelinguistic vocalizations, a small number of consonants at 24 months, and a limited number of vowels? Was there a limited babbling structure? This is the information we need to get to try to piece out which of those kids who are a little delayed, but they're going to be fine. And those kids, let's get them some help. And as an evaluator, by having this kind of research, you can use that in your evaluations when you're concerned about a child and think they may not qualify. You can draw a picture, create a hologram, write a vignette, have that child come to life for the EIOD and New York City Department of Health. Is the child making progress every month in language development? Now this is from ASH, it makes sense. Children, they don't always progress. It's not like this, but it's usually up and a little bit, up and a little down. And sometimes if they're learning to walk, their language may not develop or may get a little quieter. If they're, they just start walking, then sometimes their language falls back a little bit. So that's not regression. That's just normal language learning and cognitive learning and motor learning. Now let's have a look at Colin, 20 months old. You saw him in an earlier video at 22 months old. And let's think about what we have learned from the Olswig, Rodriguez, and Timler article that we can apply to figure out whether this little boy, Colin, needs early intervention therapy for language. This was for speech and language. There was a question, and here's the video that we can analyze together to figure this out.
What kind?
He had a small stationery store.
What?
Around the corner. And
Vanilla?
can't compete.
No.
I don't want
Chocolate?
but I was in there several times.
No, the chocolate one's for me. I get chocolate.
And his prices were outrageous.
He wasn't doing that either.
Let's see, I get,
Right.
I'm gonna have Colin's cupcake.
Anyway, when the steak was immediately
No.
Because New York is a funny.
Should Kate have your cupcake?
3 blocks away.
What should she have?
Right.
Whose cupcake should I have?
I walk over, it's just,
It's funny. I remember the
Mommy's?
photographs. They used to have like a
She got No.
Should I have Daddy's cupcake?
Oh yeah, I worked
Should she have Claire's cupcake?
65th to 72nd.
Should she have Grammy's
Territory?
cupcake?
Yeah, the
Pop-ups?
doctors there.
Should she have
It was, yeah.
Bella's cupcake? No. Does Bella get a cupcake? No. Do you like the word
I
no?
don't know about celebrants.
I don't know if the girls, should we get their cupcakes?
It's just 35. Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to what Cate was like at this age?
Yeah, I know. Tell Caitlin and Claire it's time for dessert. They don't know.
Oh, no, there's red desserts.
Collie,
Go, you guys want
You should wash your hands.
do you like the frosting? Have you seen any birds? No?
No.
Oh, there's a bird, yeah. What else is down there?
He's got big muscles in his legs. You see his
What else do you see?
his calves are...
Who's that? A boy.
I have a very my dad's like really muscular
Who?
for a little guy who's never worked out. Like, he never
A
lifted weights
baby,
in his
a
life.
baby girl.
He's got like big arms.
I have both.
And what else? What's this?
Whoa.
I have a vanilla one and a chocolate one.
Collie, what's this?
Well, we'll try to eat out here in case it rains.
Bubble.
Okay, let's
A
try.
bubble?
Have one, Claire, because your belly's hurting. We're not going to eat them all
Oh.
up.
She
A
wants
bow, a puppy. Oh, a puppy, right?
ride a puppy. Yeah, but
Caitlin, which one do you want?
What should we do after you're finished with that? You want to go out somewhere?
You want to show me and Kate the
Who's Charlie
horses?
talking to?
His patient.
What? You want to go outside?
We operate on Thursday. He doesn't want the tops, and he wants another
He
one.
just wants the icing.
Here, there's some icing
Can you
right
clean
here.
them up? What time is it?
Print it out in Spanish.
Do we have time to take a walk?
Well, yeah, we did. But then you get the drops. You
Babo. We clean him up.
want a bottle?
Here's calves. Sometimes when he goes on his toes, he's still like a great calf.
Can I give you a bottle? Can I get the bottle and give it to you?
So as you can see with Colin, he has difficulties making all those sounds, but boy, is his receptive language amazing. Now watch, when he points to what I thought was puppy, I didn't put it together. His dog's name is Bella. So he was saying ba ba, but he really meant Bella, and then I didn't get it, right? And then he tried again, he just couldn't get through to me, you know. But when he was he wasn't using many two word. I don't think he had any other 2 words in this video, except when the his cousin sat down and she said, "Yeah, you want 2, do," right? So he's got his utterances there, sort of by some kind of dynamic assessment, some kind of push to them, right? And then at the end, of course, he's a very good communicator. More, right? And then he wants his bottle too. So he really is a great communicator, even though phonologically there may be some issues with Tate fronting. So in thinking about these videos and this training, I've thought about what really is developmental, right? It's not labeling body parts. It's really enjoying interacting with others, and that's developmentally different, and informed clinical opinion will tell us what we should be expecting depending on age. Cause and effect, object permanence. Do they have strategies to attract attention? Like Colin, more, you know, or is there reciprocal babbling earlier on? Is the sound system developing? That was the question with Colin. Does the child use gestures, facial expressions, intonation, and imitation to enhance communication? Well, certainly Colin had all that going on. Does he understand most of what was said to him? Absolutely. Do words start to develop? Single words, then 2 and 3 word combinations, then simple sentences. So we saw, do, and they can be understood most of the time, taking into account developmentally appropriate sound errors. So if I were to say, create developmental milestones, I would look for these 8 items and see where they fall and make sure I knew what happened at 6 to 9 months and what was happening at 12 to 18 months. I'd look to see what I would be expecting in those areas. Again, more information is available at Leaders Project, Grammar Fundamentals, Differential Diagnosis in Preschool Evals, School Age Disability Evaluation, a 13-year-old. There's model speech language and psychological evaluations posted, and there's test reviews of the most commonly used tests.